Okay, then what you have on the Show My Homework pack is a load of statements that evaluate caregiver interactions as a section. Read through them. Make sure you've picked which ones are supportive and which ones refute it. Try and do this without looking at the PowerPoint. It will help you. I know these are more lecture-based now, but see what you can do before you look at the answers. And then the answers are all on the PowerPoint. Refute, support, refute. And then we move on to this last bit of caregiver-infant interactions, which is looking at attachment figures. So traditionally, like I said, it's been thought that the mother is the main important attachment figure here. We'll look at Schaefer and Emerson on the next video, which is all about including the father. So it's not just the mother that's important. We've got loads of attachment figures in a child's life that we need to take into consideration. The role of the father came up last year, and as you know, there's some exams this year for year 13, and it was incredibly poorly performed as a question. So it's quite an interesting area that you need to be aware of here. So what actually is the role of the father in the household? Well, we've got Grossman carrying out a longitudinal study over a period of time with the same families, found that the parents' behaviours and quality of attachment in teens and the quality of their infant attachment was different. So with their mum but not their dad, they had more in-depth interactions with them, whereas the dad wasn't really related to attachment. They had a different role. So it could be in terms of play, they had more of an insight in when they were younger. But that doesn't explain what happens when fathers are the primary caregivers. So we've got Field with 4-month-old babies face to face with their primary caregiver. The mum was the secondary caregiver. The dad was primary, spent much more time with them, much more time smiling and imitating. And the child imitated the father more than the mother. So I don't think it comes down to who the attachment figure is. It comes down to how those bonds are created. Okay, the key is being responsive to the child, not just letting them sit there and cry, but actually taking some time to interact with them and respond to their emotions and to their non-verbal cues. So evaluation for this bit then. We've got inconsistent findings on the fathers. Loads of researchers are saying different things. Some, the fathers are the primary caregiver, some they're secondary. So we can't really answer the question, what is the role of the father? Because we just don't know. There's not enough out there. If we've got fathers having a distinct role, then what about the children who don't have fathers? Are they different? Grossman, again, a key researcher here. Fathers as secondary attachment had a really important role in development, whereas others, looking at a same-sex or single-parent family, they don't develop any differently. So really, are they that important? So all good. And then, why aren't fathers the primary caregiver? Do you think, like gender roles, they're socialised, mother does this, father does this? But then we're in a society now where both parents can go out to work, men are maybe a bit more in tune with their emotions. Is it hormonal and predisposed in the woman? So why is that? So that's quite an interesting point to put forward. Couple of things you can do then. Plan an essay for this and maybe write it. This section's really hard, so make sure you know it really well. I would go through the textbook and I would do the AO2 on research methods and the application questions. I'd basically use your textbooks now as your tasks. Don't just make notes and listen to this, do something with it.